In our continuing episodes relative to the appearance of man in the fossil record, we now turn to your little cousin Lucy, the most celebrated of all the fossils that have been discovered in recent decades. Your little cousin Lucy? Well, you can believe that if you believe evolutionary dogma devoid of scientific scrutiny and scientific evidence. I want you to remember, in our displays at the Creation Evidence Museum, the actual white area is the only area where fossils have been found. The rest is up to supposition. A few years ago, I flew to St. Louis, Missouri, specifically to visit the zoo, where they had opened a new hall having to do with Darwinian evolution, dedicated to his dogma. The special feature was your cousin Lucy. Your cousin Lucy, as I walked in, I was amazed at the incredible display of Lucy. First of all, there she was, fully attired as a human being, attired, that is, in fur, and attired as an ape would be, but her head was leaning pensively on her hand, a hand just like that you would engender, that you would sport if you were a full human being. She was leaning pensively, gazing into the future, as if she had all the mental faculties of a total human being. I looked again. There were her arms. They were short like your arms would be, your cousin Lucy. I looked again. Her legs were long like yours would be, and her feet were all the world like your feet and my feet, a little more hairy, but the great toe, all the arches, everything sporting a full human anatomy. And the general public believes that's your cousin Lucy. Well, let's see what the real facts are. First of all, only a few skull fragments were found, the jaw and some teeth. The arms that were found were long arms like that of a chimpanzee, an orangutan, or an ape, not short arms as publicly postured there in the special hall. Her legs were short, not long legs that you would sport as a human being and sported there in the posture of your little cousin Lucy. The feet were not even present. The hands were not present. So everything having to do with hands and feet of human profile is absolute supposition. What are the real facts that the public does not know? The public has the imagery of Lucy being key to our development from lower primates to full human stature. Look at the facts. One of the most famous Australopithecus afarensis fossils, that's Lucy, was discovered by Donald Johansen in 1975 at Hadar, Ethiopia. First touted as being ancestral to man, it is now recognized by the scholars involved in this research. It is now recognized that her massive V-shaped jaws are in full contrast to man and totally identical to that of lower primates. In addition to that, when more fossils were found in the vicinity showing hands and showing feet, the hands were curved, the fingers were curved for climbing. They were not human hands at all. The feet were additional hands with a thumb, not the great toe as human beings have. Actually, leading scholars have reported that the talus in the foot of other Australopithecus afarensis fossils, similar to, some identical to Lucy, had the talus, which is forward in the human foot, turned backward like it is in the gorilla, the orangutan, the ape, and the chimpanzee. In other words, there's nothing to really suggest she could walk upright for any distance, nothing to suggest that she was human in profile. She is simply another ape. And only do we have kinds producing kinds from the original genetic information. Technically, Lucy is crossed out of the profile from lower life forms developing to man, and yet the general public does not know this information. But at the Creation Evidence Museum, we give you the facts, And what we really now conclude is we have crossed out the Tang child, we have crossed out Lucy, so we have no catapulting start for man to have developed from lower life forms.